In Slovakia, we drink this. It's called a grog.
Grog.
Grog. Grog. Like frog, but grog. But we always put rum.
Rum, I see.
And also we boil the red wine with the cloves. Do you know clove?
Clove?
Do you know? Very aromatic. It's a herb. You know.
Yeah, clove だ。
Aro.
Potion.
Do you have a wine? Aka wine. If you heat up the
いや、今じゃない。
今じゃないの。
so 赤ワインと少しsugar と clove and boil and then drink hot.
I see.
Always when it's cold in the winter. This is it. But this is powder. You want the non-powder, like this, natural.
Which is better for grog?
This.
This one.
No, for the grog, they're separate. These are the. Yeah. Oh, that's Kashiko. Slovakia. Always the ski resort. For skiing. In the ski resort, two type of hot drink. Grog and hot wine.
I see.
Wine always with the cloves. And a grog, it's like a black tea with rum.
I see.
Like a dark rum. And rum only a little bit, maybe 5 to 10% is rum. And the rest is 90%, 95% is tea. And also you put sugar, make it sweet. And it really warms you up very quickly, makes you feel warm and it stays warm. So they sell it in a ski resort. Very, very common. In India, when I was in India, it was the first time I drank the actually pure natural tea.
Pure natural tea.
Because what you buy in the Western world or in Japan, it's always mixture. It's not natural. Like it's natural, but it's always mixed with something. And like for example, I like Earl Grey, or Darjeeling, or Assam tea. All of them originate from India.
I see.
And I was at the plantation in Kerala and other places where they make the Earl Grey, the original Earl Grey, and the original Assam tea, and original all this the very typical British teas. They all come from India. And Earl Grey is my favorite. But in India, when you drink the original, it's very strong. Very strong.
I see.
And it's pure because it's a pure 100% pure Earl Grey. When they sell it in the West, they mix it maybe 20% Earl Grey and 80% is just a neutral leaf, like a tea leaf with almost no taste, just to put down the taste. And I bring from India, I bring back to Australia, to my home, I bring the original Earl Grey and I make the cup of tea. And I had many friends visiting. One person tried, he almost had a heart attack. His heart started beating really fast. And he was like, what is this? He says, oh my God, it's so strong. It's very different. And the best tea in the world for me, and I have drank tea on every continent except Antarctica. But the best tea in the world is in Jammu Kashmir. Jammu Kashmir area is the area, the disputed area between India and Pakistan. And it's called Kashmir. And the Jammu Valley and the Kashmir. And there's a capital of the area, it's called Srinagar, the city. Srinagar. And in Srinagar, they make a tea and they call it kava.
Kava, yeah.
But kava is very funny because in Slovak language, kava means coffee,
Oh yeah.
which is very strange. But their kava is actually tea.
Okay.
And that tea is made from the herbs from the Himalayas and a special honey from the Himalayas. And it was amazing. The best tea of my life. Honestly, I was shocked how good the tea was. And we were there filming, and it was during the very difficult time. We were there in 2001. We arrived at the airport the same day in the morning. Before we arrived, there was a bombing at the airport.
Bombing?
Yeah, and one of the building there was a bombing. 6 people were killed.
Oh boy.
There's a lot of terrorism and very dangerous area because it's disputed between Pakistan and India.
I see.
A lot of militants, and this was before Al Qaeda, but very strong, like a terrorism thing going on.
10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, and when we arrived, we were 3 foreigners. On the whole crew, maybe 150 people, but only 3 foreigners. And the way they drive us around is they would have a jeep, and I'll be in the back seat of the jeep, and on left side and right side, soldier with the automatic gun. In the front, another soldier, and the driver is also a soldier. And that's my van. And then in front the van and behind the van, all soldiers. So for one gaijin, maybe like a 20 soldiers. And then another convoy, another foreigner.
Yeah.
And another foreigner. And the rest, just the many soldiers. We had about 50 soldiers just for the security of the film crew. And we had additional soldiers just for general, like passing in the area. Many checkpoint, always going to checkpoint very slow. And we were actually filming in Gulmarg. It's a small village in the mountains.
I see.
And that village it's almost, I think it's 4,000 meters above sea level. So very high, higher than Mount Fuji.
Oh, so 400?
4,000 meters.
4,000. I see.
And that's the base.
Oh, that's the base.
We were filming at up to 6,000.
Oh.
So, but the base, the hotel in the Gulmarg area is 4,000 meters. I am used to the mountains because I'm from the mountains. Even for me it was difficult. But most of the Indian film crew, they never see snow. Forget the mountain, they never see the snow. So for them it was so difficult. They were struggling. But it was beautiful because the mountain where we were in the hotel, it's kind of like a slope. So it's like on the side of the mountain, and it's very steep. So the trees in front of the hotel, the top of the trees are in front of my room. And there was a nest of the golden eagle.
Golden eagle no nest.
It's a really big bird, very big bird. And they were nesting right in front of my room. Maybe like this building, that building over there, just that distance, like 10-20 meters from the room and right in front. So I could see from the warmth of my room, I can see the eagles, and I take some nice shots and everything. And right across the valley, like here you will see the Mount Fuji. About the same distance, you can see Nanga Parbat. And Nanga Parbat is one of the 8,000 meter plus mountains.
Oh, I see.
Very beautiful mountain.
Okay.
And just a perfect view. It's just like wow. Kind of the same you get here with the Mount Fuji and everything. So same kind of view. But we were only 8 kilometers from the disputed border. So you can actually hear the next valley, you can hear the cannon fire. Sometimes you can hear on the Mount Fuji, they have the training area. And you can hear that. It was like that. So literally next door and the hotel is shaking. The production crew, that it used to be a famous resort for skiing, Gulmarg. But because of the civil war, they completely went like bankrupt. And the whole village, it was closed. So the production team had to hire the whole hotel. They have to book the entire hotel. And they have to book it, I think, 2 weeks in advance, including the 2 weeks, because it takes so much time to do the water circulation, because all the pipe are frozen.
Now I got you.
So for 2 weeks they have to warm up the whole hotel just to get the water running and to
wow.
keep it warm. It's really cold. It was minus 20 degrees because this is January in Himalayas.
January.
So very, very, very cold. And the amount of snow, it was ridiculous. And the main cameraman, he is from South India.
Oh.
And for him, they make like a sled, like this table, double side. And he would be sitting in the middle and mountain of blanket. It's like a mountain Fuji. Only the head is out and even the head is covered, just like a pile of blanket and the camera. And maybe 20 Indian assistants carrying and moving around. I was laughing, it was so fun.
Westernizing or traditional way, for my definition, like this. Anyway, going up little by little, even little by little. But listen to younger people is going.
But that's the westernization.
I'm not sure that's the westernization or not.
I've seen it.
You said it?
I lived in the western countries and I grew up in an eastern country. So I was lucky enough to see the whole spectrum. When I was born in Slovakia, it was communistic country. And I grew up in a communistic country. Then I was in a socialistic country. And then as it was changing into capitalistic country, I moved to the western countries. And that was a pure capitalism. So I literally have seen the whole scope from the left to the right. And the best part is in the middle. And Japan has, the middle is the socialism. And socialism is the best. Because in the communism, you don't have so much worry. The country looks after you.
Yeah.
Like everybody helps everybody. But you have no freedom. You are very controlled, very oppressed. And you cannot be individual, you cannot be free. In socialism, you still have the support of the government. That's what it means social. You know, they look after the society, but you have the freedom. So you have a lot of freedom. You have the freedom of speech. You can express yourself as an individual, and you can travel.
That's a difference between the communism and the socialism.
And then capitalism, you have all the freedom, but nobody looks after you. You have to look after yourself. So in a socialism, it was beautiful because we had one of, I think, the best educational system, completely free. You don't have to pay. You can get a PhD, you can have a doctorate. You don't have to pay. But you have to prove that you are worthy to study. So there's an exam to be accepted to another level of the school. You have to pass the exam. And the beauty of that is that even if you are poor or even if you are rich, it doesn't matter. You have to pass the exam to study further. And if you pass the exam, the government will support you. They will even give you, if you want to live on your own, they will give you a place to stay, like an apartment, and they will even pay you a little bit every month so you can take care of yourself, so you can study. So what it promotes is a really good education and lots of smart kids. In the capitalism, the problem is that you have to have a lot of money if you want to study, if you want to have a good education. And I don't want to put down the public schooling because, of course, there are some public schools that are fantastic, but that's more of an exception. And if you really want to have a specialized high degree education, you have to pay a lot of money. And most people don't have that kind of money. And in America, they were saying, like, in average, when the student finish the education, they already have a massive debt because of the education. So you start your life with a chain and a big rock around your neck, and you have to start your life.
It's a modern world slave.
Yeah, so education has to be free. That's a must. And the second most important thing, actually, same level, is healthcare. And healthcare has to be free. And again, it's not free. I mean, it's paid from your taxes. But that's what the tax is for. So when you pay your tax, it goes to the healthcare and it goes to the education. And with that, you can grow a very strong country. And that's why when the Eastern Bloc started breaking apart and we joined the EU, Slovakia was the strongest economic power from the Eastern Bloc that joined the EU bloc. It's very hard.
That's a long story of the discussion.
Next time.
Okay. すいませんね。
いえいえいえ、
長い時間かけました。
とんでもありません。
But I really wish what you are saying that would happen, but it's just, I'm very pessimistic about it. The hard approach.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Because I see that, and I've seen it in every country I have been. People have a good heart by nature.
Yeah. Yes.
But sometimes people are put in the circumstances, either economical or ideological, which force them to do things that are not nice. And then you have no choice. At the end of the day, you want your family to survive, you want you to survive, and you do what you need to do.
So,
All the refugees from the Middle East, like the crisis in Europe right now, I mean, Europe is being flooded by Middle Eastern refugees. But if you ask them, they don't want to leave. They prefer to be back home. They prefer to be in Syria because that's their culture. That's what they feel at home. In Europe, it's very hard for them. It's much colder, the completely different culture. They have to adapt. They have to assimilate. It's very difficult for them. If they have a choice of staying, they would prefer to stay. But they don't. And why? Because again, because Western cultures, the capitalism is trying to control the resources in the Middle East and creating this atmosphere of extreme violence and struggle and economy and and the difference between the poor and rich.
Merkel had the hut for refugees, but she forced to be disagreed with
But why? Because of the ideology. The
the.
capitalism, the EU.
But I should say, Merkel had the hut,
She still has.
still has. Anyway, it's
Okay, another time.
endless.
Okay. But it's a very good discussion.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Your sister really improved your English.
Right?
During this,
Yeah, I'm also saying,
Not sorry,
your
you were
English,
speaking.
your English is much
Oh, yeah.
better than before.
いいんじゃないこうやって。
油っぽいよね。
あ、上が入って。
Now it's my responsibility to improve my Japanese. And my Japanese has improved a lot. In Kyushu, most of the time I was forced to speak Japanese.
Okay, next time let's discuss in Japanese. It's good practice for you.
It's gonna be very slow conversation.
Yeah, that's okay.
うん
頑張ります。
うん